Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Fierce Female Friday, May 6th, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie Daytime. Joining me today, we have one of our previous guests coming on to discuss his new hit album, which drops tonight, 23. Ladies and gentlemen, JamaiMusic. I'm going to share this live. We're going to be discussing his new album, which drops tonight. Make sure you guys please go and get it right now. Pre-order it. Make sure. I'm super excited, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get into this interview, let me share this live with Jamai so that we can get into this interview with you guys. I'm so excited. Yes. Mother's Day is Sunday. Joining me tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we have Renaissance Jones. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. A.G. Robinson and Renaissance will be joining me tomorrow. But I'm super excited about our very special guest today. He's been on the show previously, and it's been a minute since we spoke with him. So we're going to catch up with him today so that we can dive right into this album review to discuss his new project, 23. I'm super excited, and I hope you guys are too as well. Ladies and gentlemen, JamaiMusic.
Yo,
Yo,
hey. Sorry, I'm trying to get my
TGIF.
light. I'm trying to get my light and get it all together. So, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, TGIF?
I'm good. Thank God it's Friday.
Yeah.
All right, let me get this together, right? Because sometimes you feel like it's right, and then when you get on there, it don't. All right, that's cool. All right, cool. We good. How are you, Stevie?
I'm doing great. It is such a pleasure to see you again. It's been a minute.
It's been a long time. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for being a part of this press run for my album release week. Thank you for making time to have me. I'm so grateful.
Yes. So before we get into the album and we discuss the new project, which drops tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll get into that. How has 2022 been for you? Because like I said, we spoke back in 2020, 2021 while this thing was going on. So how has it been for you thus far?
Overall, I've been blessed. I really have. I can't make any complaints. I've been extremely blessed. Like the reality is life is happening. Life is going to happen. Life be kicking my ass sometimes. It's kicking my ass right now. But the reality is I'm so blessed, and all of us have so many things in our lives that people wish they could trade their lives with ours to have our problems. So 2022 has been a blessing, truly.
Absolutely. And it's a blessing to be here, to be alive, just to be thankful. We
Sure.
know this Sunday is Mother's Day. And this project,
Come on.
this project right here, I was reading some of the press reviews and some of your commentary breaking down the album and what the album was about. 23. The album is beautiful. The cover artwork is beautiful.
Thank you
Just the
so much.
overall, we'll get into the track play, and then I want you to give me a word to describe, because this album has 23 tracks. This album
Yeah.
has 23 tracks. And we're
Yeah.
gonna do like track play. So you can give me one word to describe each track. I listened to the hit single 23, and I couldn't listen to it without tearing up because the song is so beautiful. I seen the visuals of it, just your mom's memory. So I'm not gonna get into it. I want you to tell us the story behind the concept of this project.
So in 2018, I premiered on a television show, and it was my first time on TV. And
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of times with shows, they want you to have a storyline. And I just simply was they asked if I would want to talk about my mother's story, and I wasn't ready. I wasn't comfortable. I felt like I would be exploiting her story, um, exploiting my story. And I felt like if I was going to win a show or if I was going to be any kind of competition, I should win off the merit of my talent and not based off of America's pity. So we went with the Singing Telegram story. It was great. And, when I was done with the show, they told me, a lot of people said, you should have shared your story, your other story. You should, because there's so many people that it can help. And, that was profound for me. And I decided around 2018 my mother's 23rd death anniversary had came. And she was murdered when she was 23 years old. I was 6 years old at the time. It was a classic domestic violence situation, almost by the book. And when her 23rd anniversary came around, I felt this extra level or new level of grief. I don't know, but some people, people that know, when you lose a parent or when you lose a loved one that's older than you, a lot of times you feel like you won't live past the age that they passed. And you know, I got through that. But at this time, her 23rd anniversary, I realized that she was gone for as long as she was alive. And to me, that was a whole nother perspective on my grief. And getting to grieve as an adult is totally different than grieving when you're 6. And I grieved. Nothing was hid from me, but I was only able to understand but so much. And I think I grew up in a state of grief, but I wasn't able to grieve really in real time. And so here I am as an adult years later, grieving and truly understanding the context around the circumstances. And I was inspired by that to do an album. I said, I'll do 23 songs and I'm going to release a song a week for 6 months, you know? And so I didn't have a producer. I didn't really know how to work Logic or any music creative programs. So I taught myself. I already played guitar. I was just learning piano. And I just got up every day and expressed. I got up every day and created. I got up every day and put all my pain into my music, as well as my other experiences as an artist, as a young man, as a creative, as a black man. And this is what became 23. So yeah, it's 23 songs, and it's me telling my mom's story, giving her a voice as a victim, and telling my story and speaking to hopefully other children who's lost their parents, their mom, to domestic abuse or has been affected by domestic violence, and in any way just sharing my story and doing my purpose, you know.
And this is powerful for you to tell her legacy just in time for Mother's Day. And this makes 23, you know, the album itself. And I know she'd be proud. She's looking down on it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So,
The interesting thing is tomorrow would be her 50th birthday. Her birthday is May 7th, and she will be 50 years old tomorrow. And that's why I was very intentional about releasing on this day as my gift to her, as a way to celebrate her and my love for her.
and that makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. Perfect sense. Again, to celebrate her legacy, so forth, and keep it going. Again, my prayers and healing, of course, goes to
Thank you.
Sue. As you mentioned in the beginning of the interview, it's difficult losing a parent. I lost a sister in 2018, and I've opened up about it on this show, on this platform. So it's difficult. Next month will be June. Her birthday falls on June 29th. So sort of bittersweet to celebrate it, and she's no longer here.
For sure.
I know.
For sure. For sure.
Okay. So what is the message that you want people to take away from this project? Because it has a powerful meaning. It has a story. And I get the story. But there are people out here that might not understand the story. What transparency do you want people to take away from this powerful project?
I just want people to give it a shot. I want people to give the album a shot. I don't have a specific message that I want to give to people. I truly understand that, like, not to compare my music to the word of God, but whatever in the scriptures, whatever is to be understood to an individual is what they're supposed to take away from it. When you go to church or you hear a sermon or you read the Bible, we can read the same scripture and it can mean something to you and mean something totally different to me. Mm-hmm. So all I am is a vessel. I create my music, and the pain that I've experienced and that I still experience, I put it on wax, and once it's released, it's no longer mine. The music is whoever listens to it is theirs to interpret, to be inspired, to be creative. Is theirs. And so that's the amazing thing about purpose, because what we as creatives have to understand is our gifts are only useful if God makes a void for the gift. So all I got to do is do what I do, and God will do the rest. So I don't know if there's a message that I specifically intend on sharing other than telling my story, um, and just getting it out, getting the itch out to get this music out and be creative and just do the fly stuff that I like to do and have a good time. So the album is a is a variety of genres and tells a variety of stories. So
You recorded, produced, and mastered this entire album by yourself.
yeah,
So, what was the process like going into the studio? Like, did you have to take moments? I know, and there are some artists who have been recording albums. I'm going to use one of my favorite albums, my favorite singers, Janet Jackson. When she recorded the Velvet Rope album, she said she couldn't really do it. She could not really do it. She literally had to take a break away from it and come back to it because the album, she said, was really draining for her and depressing for her. Was this recording this album like you know, with your mom's legacy and everything, and those memories, you know, they come back and they hit you? Did you ever have to take breaks?
I think for me with my mom, there are a few songs that I sobbed. Me telling my story, I literally sobbed after creating some of these songs. And I mean, at the piano, recording the songs, sobbing as I'm writing, as I'm creating the songs. And it's some of them I can't listen to. 23, the lead single, I can't even listen to. It's not a song
Yeah.
that I listen to because it's truly, if you listen to it, I'm essentially describing a crime scene. You know, I'm essentially playing out a murder in the song. Um, and it's true. You know, it's a depiction of what actually happened. And for me, it's very dark, but it's therapeutic. And I think for a lot of people, the studio is work. For a lot of people, the studio is a place to party or whatever. But for me, the studio is where I live. The studio is where I'm home. Like when I come home in my house, my studio is my space, not my living room or, you know, all the things where people might come home, they go sit in their living room and watch
Mm-hmm.
movies. That's not something that I do. I go to my studio and I create because it's a part of why I do and why I breathe and why I do what I do. So the album was hard to make because I was teaching myself how to produce. I was teaching myself how to mix. I was teaching myself how to work these programs, and uh, but at the same time, it was liberating. I didn't have an engineer to help me or teach me, but I also didn't have an engineer to stifle me. I didn't have another songwriter to share credits with or help me or inspire me, but I also didn't have a songwriter to be mindful of. You know, I didn't have a producer, a vocal arranger, engineer to do all the things that help and that are a beneficial part to the creative process. But because it was all within me and housed within me, I was able to express more vulnerably. I was able to say things and try things that I wouldn't have normally tried. When I was paying $100 an hour for a studio session, I probably wouldn't have tried a song that I didn't know was going to be good for radio. You know what I'm saying? I think with this project, I was able to say, I'm going to try this. I'm going to do what's in my head. And if it's whack, if it's trash, then nobody will ever hear it. You know what I mean? There's no pressure. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try this doo-wop song. I'm going to try this opera sound that I have in my head. I want to express my love for God in this Christian contemporary song. I want to try to rap in this hip hop song. So, and I did all that. This album encompasses all the facets of my personality, all of the things that I'm passionate about and care about. And I think everybody, new fans old fans and people that aren't even fans that just stumble across the music will be pleasantly surprised, because it's not something that you would expect from me, or somebody that looks like me, or somebody that sounds like me. So I'm super excited for y'all to hear it.
Are there going to be more visuals? Because we've seen the first visual for the hit single and the album title as well too, 23. So are there going to be more visuals for each one?
Definitely. See, that's why I love you, Stevie, because you already know. You know, man, we gotta keep the visuals coming. We have to. The industry has changed, man, and like people don't listen to music, they see it. And a lot of times the public needs a little help to appreciate the art. And thankfully or gratefully, I have thousands of ideas running through my head all the time. It's just a matter of not being able to duplicate myself to do all the things at one time. Uh, but at the end of the day, the public needs visuals. They need content to support the music. So I have some things stocked, and I'm actively working on telling my story and expressing more vividly through content to bring these songs alive to the public.
All right. While we're going through, before we get to some questions, I'm taking the audience comments as well. Shout outs to Mr. Manager. He
Shout
posted
out
the
to
link to Jemi's
shout out to
album that
Mr. Manager.
drops tonight. Shout outs to Karma's Paradise. Thank you so much. Hey, girl. Make sure you guys go and follow her. Black owned for my ladies. If you're looking for, because the last interview me and Jemai did, I had medium length hair, but my hair is very, very long today, as you guys can see. So make sure you guys go and follow Karma's Paradise for all your hair care and beauty needs for my ladies out there. She also has some stuff for the fellas as well too. So if you want healthy looking skin, luscious growing hair, she has all of that. So check out Karma's Paradise. And also, let me see, C Spike Productions is here. And Juju says, I can't wait to hear this album. People are already anticipating. Did you ever think that the audience's response to this album drop was gonna be so epic?
I don't know. I mean, I think you can relate as a creative and as an entrepreneur that, you know, you can put a lot of work in, and sometimes you don't get the attention or the recognition that you think your art deserves. So I learned, and I'm human, so it still affects me, but I learned to do things because I want to do them, and do things that inspire me, and not even expect for so many people to go crazy over it. I just do it because I love it. And to hear that people are anticipating the music, that they are looking forward to it, is truly a blessing. It's like that gravy, like that extra gravy, because it's like I already got it in my head. I'm gonna do it regardless of what the public thinks, regardless of what people thinks or critics or journalists think. I'm gonna do it because it's true to me, it's authentic to me, and I'm inspired to do it. But it's always a plus. It's always a blessing when people like it, when people support it, and you gain influence because people appreciate your art. So I'm just grateful. I'm still a little anxious because like it's dropped tonight, so I'm like, oh my god. But I'm excited.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and hit that button below, pre-order, because the album drops tonight, 23. Love this look, Miss Stevie. Thank you. Yes, I just threw on something. It's Friday, so I wanted to go for something very relaxed this evening because this album right
You
here is
look
something very
fabulous.
relaxing. Thank you. And I heard the hit single, so just I wanted to go along with the mood of this album
Yeah.
and along with my look as well. I wanted to go for something very relaxed. So speaking of relaxing, how have you been managing after recording this album? Because I know it's a whole process for recording an album with 23 tracks. How
Yeah.
have you how have you been healing? Because I know your mom is deep in there for you, and I know the process for recording music and taking breaks while recording this is a process for you. So how's the healing process for you?
I think the healing process is ongoing, and it is lifelong. I tell people all the time, one song I have on my album is called Stop Crying. It's actually the last song on the album,
Mhm.
and it basically is saying that, you know, when people have grief or when people lose someone, they say, you know, time heals all wounds, and that is totally not true. It's a lifelong process. It's just there. It's just something that something on your shoulder that you carry, and you may just learn how to muscle through it, how to get up, a reason to get up, something to look forward to. But it's something that I'll carry with me every day. It's something that I live with, and to say that I'm healing, I think it's something that I can say, but I don't think I'll ever be able to say that I'm healed, that I'm over it, or that it doesn't affect me. It's something I walk with, I live with, moment to moment. Um, yeah.
I'm going to take some more comments. I see a lot of you are coming in. Shout outs to
Hey
Ricky
y'all.
Jones. Oh my goodness. From Crutchfield Jones. Yes. Shireen, Crutchfield, and Ricky will be on the show next Saturday. I'm super excited for that, ladies and gentlemen. So definitely stay tuned for that. Shout outs to the legend,
Hey,
Jones. Um,
hey.
He now forever says, grew up in Chester, so I'm especially proud of Jemai. We love and support our babies. Yep, he's ours.
Thank
And shout
you.
out to my
C
girl,
City.
Angela Renee. She says, your guest looks fabulous too. The frames are fire.
Thank you. Shout out to Black Business MG. These glasses are by a business, black owned business. Don't Be Shady, by my girl. Her name is Aaliyah Scott, and she's also a musician. She just dropped the album, but she got some fire shades, y'all. She shipped and she mail them out to you. But she's amazing, and she's a black woman doing her thing, talented, beautiful. So shout out to Don't Be Shady.
Yes, and we're all about supporting Black-owned brands here on Style by Stevie. Do we have any questions? Don't be shady. Love that, Miss Angela Renee. Yep. Do we have any more questions for Jamal? Because this interview, hi Jay Evans, I see a lot of you are coming in. The press for this album is going crazy. A lot of people are coming in to see what the buzz is about. Did you have
Yeah.
any idea while recording this album that the success and the outlook and just the response overall was going to be this?
I did, and I hoped it, and I spoke it, and I continue to believe that as we continue, at once the album is released, that it'll be life changing for me. That my life after today will no longer be the same. My friend spoke that into me just yesterday. She said, "Save this moment and enjoy this moment because after this album drops, your life won't be the same." And so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to change. Life is built up of memories that of moments that won't last. So we gotta make sure we make them memorable and truly be present in these moments. So I'm just grateful. I'm enjoying it, and I'm ready to get it popping. Like I'm ready to get started. Like I'm ready for y'all to hear this music because it's about to be lit. Stevie, it's about to be lit, and like you gonna love the album, and it's a song on here for everybody. Like it really is.
And we're going to do the track playlist and then post that later. I sure will, Angela. You guys know that I put up my shows at the end. So you guys will be able to catch the replay in case you missed anything. And Mr. Manager just posted it in the comments is don't be shady. Don't.be.shady right here on Instagram. We have a question from another artist, Liz Manez Music in New York. And she wants to know what chapter in your life are you speaking about in this album? Powerful question.
That's a great question. The funny thing is, I believe it took me my whole 33 years of life to make this album because I'm speaking about my whole entire life in this album. My mom was murdered when I was 6. I experienced in those 6 years and so much great time and Jemai, do you ever have a day off? I do not. But that is, I had so much great memories with my mom, and so many great moments, and then the grief and the experience of losing her was traumatic for me growing up as a preteen, as a
Mm,
teenager, as a young adult. Um, and understanding it in context. Now I'm 10 years older than what she was when she was murdered. Um, so I'm expressing as a man my relationships with women, my perspective on relationships, my experiences, and so much so it's a variety of topics, even down to my relationship with God is evident in this project. And I haven't shied away from many topics. I am descriptive in a lot of ways for in a lot of songs. Some songs are linear, and then some songs are deeper than surface. You know that you might have to think a little bit, but they're all great grooves, great bops, great feels, and I think it's something on here for everybody. And to answer the question about if I ever take a day off, not really. I believe that when it's time for me to, when I get to where I want to get to, I'll take a day off. I do take days off when I don't have a choice, but for the most part, life is like time not taking breaks, so I can't take breaks. It's I want to get where I want to get, and I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to get there. Creative block. They ask, how do I deal with creative block? Uh, I think for me, it's a lot of it's different for everybody, but I believe that for me, because I am not, I don't think I have OCD, but because I thrive off of routines and repetition, I
In
think the
order.
best thing for me is to come up with a routine. And let's say if your creative time in your day is an hour a day from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., whether you are being creative or not inspired, you disciplined enough to do the work in that 1 hour. And once the 1 hour is over, it's over. You ain't gotta. But if you would strengthen that creative muscle, it's like practicing a piano or guitar. You're not going to practice every day and be inspired to practice, but you have to practice. It's not about being inspired or whatever. Your creativity is not always based off of inspiration. It's based off of what you know you need to do and the skills that you've honed. So I think that's a big part. Do lyrics or melody come first for you? I'm sorry, am I supposed to read the comments and add answer?
Yeah,
How
you
we
can.
how we
You
doing this
can.
now?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
why I was quiet. I
My
was
bad.
letting you read.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do lyrics or melody come first for you? I think most of the time it's melody. But now that I'm a musician and I hear chords, sometimes I hear a line and I just start singing that line and I build around that line and create a progression behind it. And then I'll create a vibe and then I'll kind of go into what direction, the topic of the song. So it varies. I think the most important thing with creativity is to be obedient to the inspiration. And when it comes, I know as songwriters, sometimes we hear a song in our head and we go, oh, I'm gonna remember it. And instead of when we get that inspiration, going and act on the inspiration. If you think about it as a gift, that's God giving you a gift in a moment and you not receiving it in a moment, and you putting it off. And then when you go back, you never go back to it or you forget it. So I think that's another big part, which I'm guilty of as well. I might get a song idea, but I'm like, I got this to do, I got that to do. But I think the most important thing is to just be obedient to the inspiration and act on it when you hear it. When you get that idea, when you get that hairstyle, when you get that clothing idea, when you get that business idea, act on it then because there's a grace that God gives you in that moment to accomplish it that if you put it off may not be there. Ooh, are you married to the first draft of a song? Or dang, Stevie, you got some great. These are some great questions, Stevie. You got like little journalists on your show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's a great question. I think that is specific to the person as well, and I also think for me, for the most part, I'm married to the first draft. And when I say first draft, I mean the completed version of the song. Um, and in creating my first draft, there's still small little drafts to get to that first print. So as you writing the lyrics, as you creating the hook, or you creating the bridge, you might hear something and it takes you to another place. But see, I don't look at that as changing. I look at that as that's the way that it's supposed to go. There has been a few times where I've created songs that when I finished or when I was in the middle, they didn't work. And so I kind of backtracked and kind of rerouted and went before. But rarely do I actually finish a song and scratch it and just start over with another version of the song. I'm usually so in love with it as I'm creating it that by the time I finish it, I'm like madly in love. I'm a singer songwriter and I have a tendency of getting attached to the first draft. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think I don't think nothing's wrong with that. I believe that if you love the song, you love it for a reason. If you're married to that first draft, if you're married to that version of the song, it's because you love it. Why change it if you love it? And that's what we need to, like, as creatives, get stuck on. It's like, don't let society or any outside force change what you feel, because you feel it and you may not know nobody else that feel it. That's the peculiarity of, I don't even know if that's a word, but that is that thing that God made for you specifically that nobody else can hear. That's the gift, you know? How does the studio, how does the transition from studio differ for you? Transition from studio to what? To live performing, or studio to uh mixing, the studio to new music, or what exactly? Elaborate. I know somebody asked, is a studio in-house? I have my own studio, and that's been probably the biggest credit to creating this album, because I've been able to build my own studio and do 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 it on my own time. So the transition to the live performance. So from the studio to the transition live performance, I think that is relative as well. I think it's to the artist, to the specific creative, because for me, sometimes there are songs that I'm creating them, and because I'm a live performer and I dance and I play instruments, I'm creating them and I see myself performing it. Other times, um, I just am inspired by the song, and I let the song be the song. And some songs I feel like I'm like, I don't think this is a good performance song. You know what I mean? Or I need to strip it down and make it an acoustic version to make it more palatable for a performance. And then it's the setting that you're performing in. Sometimes you might not want a big production sound, or you might not want to perform this song at a coffee shop because it's not giving you that type of vibe. But I think all of those things allow for us, especially in this time and day and age where we can be independent artists, we can be on social media, we can create multiple versions. This is the same song, but I'm gonna do an acoustic version so that when I perform it at the coffee shop, it's palatable, it's digestible for this audience.
Right.
And I think that just expands us all as artists, as listeners, um, as people.
What
What do
is
you
your
think?
favorite instrument sound in a track? And someone else asked, Gold Room asks, how do you continue to stay motivated to be different from other male artists in the industry, especially when all of these artists are doing the same thing, addressed the same way?
I just try to stay authentic to me. If I had to describe my style, it might even be androgynous to some people. It's not androgynous to me, but it's like a little. If I could describe my style, it would be like a ghetto Lenny Kravitz. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like my style is like to the left a little bit, but it's like I'm from the hood, so like it still has like urbanness to my style, a
Right.
level of comfortability, a level of, but there's still a chic upclassiness to it. You know what I'm saying? So like, or a classiness to it that I feel, and like a little edge to a little, like like an edge, sex appeal. Like you think when you think of like a vampire or like a biker, like they kind of like badass. They kind of like give you like sexy vibes, but then got a little ghetto, a ghetto prince. That's it, sis. Shout out to my sister. I'm a ghetto prince.
Juju wants to know any freaky, sexy music on the album. If so, what made you write about
Ah, yeah, it's a lot of freaky, sexy songs. I haven't shied away from many topics. Uh, I mean, down to oral sex, to bent over on the balcony. I haven't shied away from much. So even if you read the song titles, you
We'll
can
get to
see, you can almost, you know.
right now. I'm trying to get all the questions out the way before we do the playlist, and you can give us one word to describe each one. What artist would you like to share the stage with and why?
Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Stevie Wonder, Jasmine Sullivan. Yeah, they're like my. Let's go. Like me and Beyonce, we need to do like a whole tour. And Usher, Usher, duh. Yeah, that's who.
I seen footage of you actually singing with Beyonce. She handed you the
Yeah,
microphone, looking beautiful, and her hair was blowing, and she was just blown away. So
yes,
manifestation.
yes. We need a whole tour. Yeah, that was a moment. And the crazy thing is, I think that moment will become a full circle moment. Uh, for her to endorse me in that way, for her to let me sing in her mic at her concert, and then give the mic back to me. That 30 seconds was like it was like 5 minutes, and every time I watch it, it's so magical. I still get chill bumps. So I'm super grateful, and I love Beyonce. I loved her then. I love her now. We just it is what it is.
All right, it is time for track play, ladies and gentlemen. And in this segment, we are going to do a breakdown on the hit singles on this hit album that is already going to be a success because of you guys' response to it. People are coming in still. Welcome to the dollhouse. All right, so we're going to go through all 23, and you give us one word to describe each song. So we're going to start off with the album title itself, 23.
Tragedy.
Okay. Anna.
Dang, I only gotta use one word.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Good. You.
Uh, Low key.
Okay. Wind it up.
Party.
Okay. Perfume.
Doo-wop.
Okay. Chocolate.
Stripping.
Pink in the middle.
Mouth.
Okay. All right. B B BDE.
Energy.
Moonlight.
Love.
Weed man.
Cheating.
Only one.
Fun.
You.
Desperation.
Come back.
Desperate.
Tell myself I got you.
Opera.
Heartbeat.
Piano.
Figure it out.
Wedding.
All right. 10 million reasons.
Corny. Cause that nigga corny. That's what I want to say.
You was with it.
Oh.
This fly.
Uh. Dope AF.
All right. Tell your mama.
Block.
Love me deeper.
God.
Feel it.
Summertime.
And last but certainly not least, stop crying.